Sane. I know I can be.
All right.
Woo!
We are live.
What's up?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mental Health Awareness. Clearly, we are not vocally in sync.
No,
That's A-okay.
That's all right.
That's all right.
That's all right.
I'm William G. McCary. This is...
Brian Karsten, how we doing?
Hopefully, everyone is doing well. We've had a pretty good week here, pretty productive week.
Oh, yeah.
Moving things together. How's your business going, man?
Dude, going great.
Yeah?
Got a bunch of new clients, dialed in the calculations on all my nutritional stuff, got the website up and done, got my promo video done,
Saw the video.
got new business cards on the way.
Nice.
Gonna go hit the town and do some marketing and stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, things are rolling. Things are going good.
Where can they find you?
FitologyTrainingPDX.com.
Nice.
Check it out there. I will respond to you if you contact me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk.
Absolutely.
Let's talk.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm getting everything
yourself?
situated here.
Tell us about your
so-
move, your occupational move a little bit here.
Oh yeah. So I've been with Men's Warehouse for a long time. That's kind of part of the pun as far as why this is called mental health awareness, because it's also on the outside as far as how you want to be able to reflect yourself. It's what you wear. It's your identity. Awareness. Haha. So I've been with the company for about a decade now, and I've been in and out of multiple positions, and I am going to take an assistant manager role over closer to my home, make a little bit more money, and go back to school at the same time. And actually, I just got off the phone with my wife as well, too, and she just landed a job with Portland State University.
Boom. Huge.
So
phenomenal.
we're moving, we're shaking, we're trying to do those adult things like you're supposed to do. So
Big stuff in the D. Carey household.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
trying to make some things happen over here. So
Everybody, give him a little
Thanks.
round of applause,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
These guys
Thanks,
are
guys.
crushing it.
Thanks, guys. So,
Hey, look at.
you
Thanks,
gotta
Wide.
remember- Thanks, Y.
Yeah. Good for you.
Good not hood.
Good not hood.
Hashtag good not hood. Yes, good not hood.
Hoods.
No, hood's up. Get your hood up. So yeah, things are going pretty well. I had my first big assignment that was due as well too.
What'd you
and
get?
I kind of crushed it.
What'd you get?
I got 100%.
Got 100%. Jesus.
Yeah, I felt good. So
Woo!
went into it thinking I did a pretty decent job overall. Wasn't sure how hard it was going to be graded, whatever and whatnot, but it. I think I'm on to this mental health thing. I think
Knock it out the park, Luke.
Yeah,
You
knock
knocked it out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, was that a Robot Chicken reference? Is that what that was? Yeah, that was good. That was real good. So today, guys, on mental health awareness, we're going to be doing the same formula as always. However, we're going to be approaching an actual case study as opposed to going over specific topics like development or autonomy or early transitions from adolescence to adulthood. We're going to focus mainly on early adulthood at this point, and the case study is dealing with a lady and a man named Kesha and Tommy. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of background information regarding the case study, and then we're going to talk about the discussion and see how we feel about it.
Before we jump in, when we say early adulthood, we're talking what age ranges, just so we can get a mental framework.
Perfect. No, so we're talking between the age ranges of 25 to 26 to about 34, 35.
Oh, my God.
So
Okay,
right now-
I see. Is that Brinkley with glasses?
How did you
Oh,
do that?
my God.
How did
I
you do
love
that?
it. Gangster B.
How did you do that?
Dude.
I love it. Gangster B.
Gangster B. That's amazing.
Hashtag good not hood, baby.
That's
I love it.
what a great start to our podcast.
I love it. Good stuff.
There you
Good
go.
stuff, guys.
Okay.
So I would say before we even get into that, I was going to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like as you guys know, I have a persona called Shy Guy. I've had it for a long time. I have a website called ShyGuyWardrobe.com, and I'm going to be rebranding it because obviously I'm studying mental health and want to get in the counseling field and all that sort of stuff. So go check out ShyGuyWardrobe.com. It's got a little bit of a rebranding to it right now. I'm thinking, and I want to ask your guys' opinion as well as BK's here too.
What?
I'm thinking about changing the .com name because wardrobe doesn't really kind of encompass the profession. So I'm thinking I want to go with ShyGuyMentalHealth.com.
ShyGuyMentalHealth.com.
And it's available. I checked last night.
Why not mental health awareness?
Because that's just the name of the show.
Okay.
And so my brand will be Shy Guy overall.
Okay.
And so, like, imagine opening up like a brick and mortar, so to speak. If you open up Shy Guy Mental Health versus like mental health awareness,
Yeah.
they both have their merits for
I see.
sure. But
I see.
yeah,
I see.
the kitschiness to the
Yeah.
awareness, I think, lends itself to more of a production as opposed to a business.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so too. I agree.
Yeah.
You're just throwing this at me. I don't know. I need.
That's
some,
okay.
I need some
we have time to
creative
think about it.
I
That's
need
why
some
we
creative
want
time to think on that one.
Yeah, and that's why we want to ask the audience as well too. Why, whatever you think, and just let me know. Like I said, I'm definitely thinking about it. But yeah, I changed it up a little bit to Believe. Shy Guy Mental Health.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And actually, on the same note, you can see the pictures. Brian's got my website up on his phone right now. I want Brian here to go ahead and kind of do the exact same picture like style and imagery, and I want him to shoot it. So, yeah, I want you. So we'll take the camera out. We'll get the old Canon and duster off, and
You know what?
What's
I
up?
actually I reconnected with a friend from college who is a professional. He's worked on movies,
Yeah.
big time movies and commercials and stuff. Professional videographer and photographer, videographer,
Sure.
and he's gonna help me reshoot all my fitness stuff.
Oh.
So maybe same day we could just get him and shoot your stuff too.
Oh,
'Cause
nice.
He's got some real high quality cameras.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So try to hit two birds with one stone right there.
Yeah, and I can figure out what he wants as far as pricing and all that.
Oh
sort
no,
of stuff and whatever
it's
we want.
covered because I'm gonna give him. We're doing a training trade.
Oh.
So I'm gonna get him a program and he's gonna shoot for me.
Goods
So,
for good, services for services.
exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Very
so
cool.
let's just slip you in real quick.
Okay, I'm into that.
Sound good?
Sounds great, man.
Beautiful.
Perfect. God, things are just falling in place
You
right
know
now.
they're happening.
It happens. I like when things happen like this.
I
All right,
do.
back to our case study with Kesha and Tommy. After 3 years of marriage, Kesha and Tommy got a divorce. Boo. Tommy felt as if there was no hope for their marriage, whereas Kesha
Zero.
thought that they would always stay together. While married, Tommy and Kesha
change
had a
for
son and were financially stable. However, now that they are divorced, Kesha is financially unstable. That's the worst written sentence ever. Anyway, after
on,
a couple
Kesha.
of months of dealing with bills, Kesha has found herself depressed. Not only is she depressed about her financial situation, but also from the guilt of being a single parent. She feels as if her son will never be able to experience life with a father as she did. Kesha has been going to work, then coming home and just wanting to sleep. She wants to spend time with her son, but she does not feel like doing anything. She told her sister that she just wants to sleep and make everything go away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and touch base here as far as our discussion topic and break it up into 4 different sections. So the section's called Individual Challenges. It's basically just reiterating what I told you guys. Kesha and Tommy have recently gone through a divorce after 3 years of marriage. The two of them have a son together and were financially stable. Now that they are divorced, Kesha is feeling financially unstable. After dealing with the stress of bills, only one source of income, Kesha feels depressed. The depression is twofold. Not only does she feel depressed about her financial situation, she also feels guilty about being a single parent. Her worry revolves around providing her son with a father figure, an opportunity she was able to experience while growing up. After work, Kesha claims all she wants to do is come home and sleep. She's mentioned to her sister that she just wants to sleep and make everything go away. These are key indicators and signs of depression, guys. So just big time. And depression comes in all shapes, forms, sizes, categories, all that sort of stuff. It comes with little intensity or extreme amounts of intensity. It just depends on what's happening. It depends on those outside circumstances. It also depends on your makeup and build. And it goes back to how you were raised and how you were able to deal with specific stressors in your life while you were growing up. So what's some advice, or maybe like what do you think about this? Just knowing the case study at this point, like what's your 1-2 on this Kesha Tommy situation?
One would be sounds very commonplace nowadays. You know, this is definitely there's always going to be, there has to be always one person that's going to make a little bit more money.
Sure.
If there's a divorce, it's always going to be a little bit harder on the person who's making less money because a divorce is expensive.
Exactly.
Plus, now you have to deal with the travel time of getting the child all the time, multiple times a week,
Yep.
and it's a hard thing to deal with. And I think that this is a definitely a place where she's going to go see a counselor. She's going to go see a therapist,
Right.
or she should, right? Her sister is not that person.
Correct.
Her sister can be there for support, can be there to coddle her and take care of her in this stressful time,
Right.
but is not going to be able to be that professional for her that she needs.
The term that you're looking for that I just read this week
Yep.
is called social structure.
Okay.
She's a social structure for her sister.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a social structure. Exactly. So this is where I feel like she's gonna end up, depending on who she goes to, could end up getting some behavioral therapy, getting some, maybe she goes to a naturopath, or maybe she goes to somebody who's going to, change her diet and have her do yoga or she's going to go somewhere and they're going to give her some pills and say, we're going to...
Like a psychiatrist,
Yeah, like a psychiatrist, exactly. We're going to get you over this with a little bit of medication, to help buffer the feelings that you're having right now. And there's a lot of routes and a lot of ways that this crucial transitional moment in her life can play out, and she needs to wade through those waters carefully, I think.
I think you're 100% correct, and I think the first thing that you mentioned as far as the behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, we hear about it all the time in mental health. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and Brian hit it right on the head as far as that's concerned. I personally believe that going to someone like a cognitive behavioral therapist or a mental health counselor first, before going and jumping in the deep end as far as a psychiatrist and getting psychiatric drugs, is definitely step one. As Brian mentioned as well too, her sister is part of her social structure, but not necessarily somebody who should be diagnosing her or applying specific or pinpointed tendencies or behaviors that her sister, she thinks, should be doing. That's not her place. She's there to support. She's there to make sure that her sister is okay, and she's also there to be a sounding board for her sister when her sister needs her.
Exactly.
So
yeah, listen, take it in.
Bingo.
You're sponging this girl,
Right.
Not as, but the natural reaction I think that humans have is to see that problem and say,
Immediately provide advice.
Let me solve this for you,
Yeah.
right? Even if they are professional or not. My experience was X, so I'm going to apply X experience to your experience. X worked for me. X should work for you. Doesn't actually work that way,
Right.
because X and Y are two different experiences.
Exactly.
So they're not going. Her experience is not actually going. Maybe part of it could help, but yeah, I think it's best left to be that sponge and be that just ear for her sister.
Totally. I totally
Let the
agree.
professionals do their professional thing.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So moving on to developmental crisis part of this case study. A major concern for Kesha involves her statement of wanting to sleep and make it go away. According to Counseling Individuals Through the Lifespan, our favorite novel.
Seriously.
I mean, it's our textbook for this class. What can I do? I got an APA style this shit. So anyway.
Amazing.
All right, according to the text, quote, while many think of depression as a person sleeping all day, a person who is depressed may also be unable to sleep and experience feelings of restlessness. While this seems like a solution for Kesha, it's an important variable for mental health professionals to address. Kesha lost a member of her SS, social support, when Tommy left, resulting in psychological distress. According to a different article this time, the impact of life transition on emerging adult attachment, social support, and well-being, a multiple group comparison, quote, life transitions can introduce distress for emerging adults. Kesha is experiencing symptoms of depression and guilt due to her life transformation she did not foresee. Understanding the symptoms of depression are a necessity, which include, number 1, difficulty concentrating, remembering details, and making decisions. 2, fatigue and decreased energy. 3, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or helplessness. 4, feelings of hopelessness or pessimism. 5, insomnia, early morning wakefulness, or excessive sleeping. 6, irritability or restlessness. 7, loss of interest in activities or hobbies, including sex. 8, overeating or appetite loss. 9, persistent aches or pains, headaches, cramps, or digestive problems. 10, persistent sad, anxious, or empty feelings. And finally, 11, thoughts of suicide or suicide attempts. Mental health professionals must understand this jarring transformation in order to provide proper and effective solutions in order to slowly rebuild her SS, which is social structure, like we were saying before, and confidence and esteem. So it's basically what we were just saying a moment ago, where based on all of Kesha's life experiences, she has a social structure. She also has people come in and out of that social structure, whether it be by choice or by the divorce. Like with Tommy, for example, rebuilding that social structure around her is going to start solidifying those things that she was able to do in the past, and then be able to rebuild on that foundation for her in the future. So yes, I've been knocked down. Yes, I'm not making as much money as I did when Tommy and I were together. However, I could still be an A-class, world-class mom for my son, even as a single parent, because I have the structure and the support and the needs around me that fulfill me, and not only me, but then I can also provide for my son as well too.
That's a tough list.
Tough list.
That's a tough list. I mean, mostly because of the fact that it's so polarizing.
Sure.
Right? Like, how do you pinpoint what is the problem here? If she's, I mean,
so let's go through these again real quick.
It's so difficult because there's so many on the low end and then like so many on the high end. So are they expecting a person to be in the middle then, right? Normality is where you don't feel tired and you are hungry, or like what is normal to then take you to one side or another, because if there's some that are very high and some that are very low, well, everybody has characteristics, and some of them might be high or low naturally.
Exactly. So where do you land naturally, and then does it gauge one way or the other based on what's happening to you, the stressors that are put upon you?
Yeah, you know, some people are just, they overeat.
Sure.
They just always they do,
and that's the norm for them,
right? That's their norm,
or
right?
some people don't eat enough. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So they go in, they're, you know, the counselors, how you doing? Just eating a lot all the time. Well, maybe they eat a lot all the time.
Well,
right?
And then the next question out of the counselor's mouth should be, well, what are your normal eating habits before all of this happened? Like, what was your diet? What were you eating in the morning?
Gotcha.
You know, all that sort of stuff. Find out what the median or the average was.
Exactly.
And then be able to make your diagnosis based on that average.
So I think that's a key takeaway here, is that they can be all over the place, but finding the average first, so that you know which direction you're going, or you can at least notice this type of change in the behavior, right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
maybe saying what behaviors have changed rather than, are you feeling tired? Yeah.
Everyone feels tired. Yeah.
Are you feeling really tired? Yes, I am. Are you irritable? Yes, I am.
Right.
Like, okay, I mean, you could just...
Yes.
You're depressed.
Yeah.
You're depressed.
Stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you irritable? No. Well, do you care about things? No. Okay, well, she's not irritable. Didn't make the check mark. Doesn't really care about things. Feeling, you know, kind of just like floaty. Still depressed.
Right.
You know, like where's the medium?
Exactly.
Where's the medium? Where are we going?
That's a good point.
Which one of those points is furthest off of your median, right?
Correct.
Like, maybe it is the sleeping thing. Maybe, you know, you're feeling a little bit like okay, I'm eating a little bit more than normal. Maybe I'm a little bit more irritable, but I'm not sleeping at all.
Right.
Right.
That's the extreme.
That's the extreme, and that's the thing that we should go at first, right? That's where we should say, okay, how are we going to, because that's going to make the biggest impact on this person's well-being. So it's hard to hear that list and think that depression even is, just like we were talking about from the very beginning, like this entire psychology field and counseling field is just
very much a soft science.
Such a vague thing.
Very much a soft science.
Like the depression is the ultimate vague, right?
Right.
It could be anything. So pinpointing, you got to just find that way to focus. Got to find that way to focus.
Absolutely.
And I think a good counselor or a good therapist is going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think figuring out how far these specific pinpoints deviate from the norm, and then addressing those ones that are way outside the parameters have to be step one.
Yeah. try to rebalance the system.
Exact balance. Exactly.
Babe.
Exactly. All right. Intimacy versus isolation. Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development theory regarding intimacy versus isolation stage
Eric.
specifically play a role in not only her past but her current feelings of depression and guilt. According to our textbook, I'm just going to say that from now on, quote, transitioning from one life role to another and from Erikson's forming identity stage to Erikson's intimacy stage is not a clean-cut process, but a gradual shift, and I couldn't agree with that more. Kesha and Tommy are both emerging adults going through developmental milestones and most likely at a different pace. Some of these milestones can be rewarding, while others can be traumatic. These milestones are all associated with a sense of These milestones are all associated with a sense of self-identity and consist of physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. So what that means to me is that everybody goes through different stages of life for the most part in the same lifespan. However, the pace at which they do it is dramatically different. Like, for example, Brian and I probably hit different milestones. Just one of them, for example, as we were growing up, I mean, one of them was just physical height, for example.
Just puberty.
Just
This guy hit puberty in like
I
fourth grade.
I was quite literally the same size in, I think, 7th grade as I am right now.
Yeah, I was like half my size in 7th grade.
and lo and behold, Brian is taller than I am now. So
just by a smidge.
Yeah, you've got me though.
Just a hair.
You've got me though. But that's what I'm saying is that each individual person, no matter your sex, no matter the race, all of that, no matter your upbringing, are all going to experience these milestones at very different times. However, you're going to get there. It's just a matter of when. And so I think in the case of Kesha and Tommy had this idea maybe, and I could be projecting wrong. I could be wrong. But Tommy probably had this idea of, this is my spouse, this is my wife, we have our kid. Things are changing, and I don't necessarily know what to do because I've tried a few different things that I think would work, and they're not panning out based on my life upbringing, based on my experience, based on what I know to be quote-unquote right. And Kesha, for example, is going through the same milestones as well, too. However, she has it in her head where she had the support of both parents. It's a constant reinforcement throughout her whole life. And then to lose her spouse at that point, that's kind of a rock in the pond that she never even kind of foresaw. And so that wasn't even on her blip and on her radar. So for her, that's a dramatic stressor. Whereas maybe Tommy had this, I don't know, in the back of his mind ever since he was married, as far as maybe this won't work out. Maybe there's other options. Maybe there's other circumstances. But it comes down to not being a clean-cut process for every single person, but a gradual shift. So
I got a big question for you.
Oh yeah, lay it on me.
So this just fired up a big can of worms for me. So whose job is it to dictate the accelerator on maturity? Is it your own? Is it your parents?
I know what you're asking.
Is it your parents? You know, is it their job to expedite the process of your maturity or to slow it? Is it at what point is there that handoff between now, you know, we're no longer responsible for the pace at which you mature, or is nobody ever responsible and nobody should ever try to even speed it up or slow it down? You know, because I feel like some parents will kind of keep things or withhold things to keep their children.
Sure.
And some parents will give their kids things early, and you know, between parents that will create a rub because why would you do that with your kid? Now my kid feels like they should have that because you've given your kid that at such an early age, and I think that kids should stay kids and shouldn't be exposed to those types of things. And you know, is accelerating or decelerating that process, is it even something that should be done? You know, like this is like where because with these two, you know, like we talk about people moving at different paces, is it their responsibility, and can they change that on their own? Is it at some point your responsibility to say, my partner's pace is moving faster than mine, but I love them, I need to pick it up?
That's a good can of worms to open, genuinely. And I think that there's no right? No, and not to be facetious, but I think there's no correct answer other than the circumstances that are laid out before the individuals and what they've experienced and how they've gotten there to this point. I think it comes down simply to awareness, recognition, knowing the pace of your other or your family members or the people who are close in your social structure to say, like, for example, hey, I have this brother and he's older than me and man, he can't hold down a job and he's living with my parents. I mean, some people our age still do live with their parents just for financial reasons. Believe me, I totally get it. I am one of them. I live with my mother-in-law right now. But the fact of the matter is that is he being motivated by seeing other people move at a faster pace than him?
Mm-hmm.
Or does that like depress him even more to where it's like, I can never catch up with that.
Yeah.
I could never do that. I don't have the intrinsic motivation personally to be able to put forth my best foot and try to push myself outside of my norm and go into the fear area what I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to pace. I think it comes down to an awareness.
Yeah.
And I think it's obviously circumstantial at that point. And I think that there's nothing wrong as long as you are aware and understand those specific factors that I've just said. I think there's nothing wrong with having that hard conversation with the other person. Let's say you and I are, friends or whatever. Well, we are friends, but I mean, like, what I mean is, hey, you see this great opportunity and we have an All of Us Studios business together, but dude, you can go to New York, you can go train a laundry list of professional athletes or Olympic athletes, all that sort of stuff. You're going to be gone for 2 years and it's kind of going to fizzle out All of Us Studios because your attention is going to be solely due on that. I think having an understanding and awareness of seeing the merit and benefit in it for you only makes me better as a person. However, that's a hard pill to swallow for someone who can't be self-aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So does that kind of answer a little bit?
It 100% answers it. There's one question, though, that I really want to get out of that, and that is, where's the handoff period between because I think that naturally parents are going to be that governor for their children.
Totally.
And at some point, and I think it's different. Like I feel like your parents kind of maybe handed that off, and my parents kind of handed that kind of stuff off earlier with us than I know some other people.
Totally.
And some other of our friends.
Go do the dishes. You're 3 years old.
Yeah. You know, or just like, like you were talking about last time about just being exposed to, sexual television entertainment and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, with the HBO shit. Yeah,
with the HBO stuff, like that is something that is going to accelerate a child's mind and understanding of interactions between adults. Totally. And is something that is very often withheld from some children.
Absolutely.
Right or wrong,
right,
depending on the child. But do you think there's ever
a passing over of like, I have now been, sorry to take words out of your mouth.
Go.
Like, I have now tried to instill as much maturity and responsibility upon you. Now it's on you to be able to do that. And I'm going to take a back seat and kind of observe from an observer's role with my Periscope. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
and I think there is a transition period.
Is that in this period of young adulthood?
I think it's earlier. I mean, I could be wrong, but my gut feeling is that it's earlier and it's basically in your teen stage. Okay. Like, and if I had to put an age on it, I would say anywhere probably between 12 to 18 to 20 years old, depending on that range, because you can start to have formative cognitive thoughts. You can start to put two and two together. You can start to analyze and break things apart in your mind and then reassemble them back together with a different solution. So you start to be able to have more emotional responsibility that way. And so I think that can then bleed over to the actual physical responsibility as well too, and maturity, where you are learning and you're also taking that baton from your parents and then becoming self-righteous in that regard.
Fantastic answer.
Thanks, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
you for taking on that question.
No, you bet. It was a fun question to answer. It's definitely a can of worms. Okay, so some professional help for Kesha. Kesha will benefit immensely from seeking out a clinical mental health counselor. According to the article, the impact of life transition and emerging adult attachment, social support, and well-being, a multiple group comparison, quote, it is important for counselors to be mindful of these challenges and aid clients in maintaining well-being during early adulthood. The early adulthood transition for Kesha stems from her childhood of having both parents and their roles clearly defined. Rebuilding Kesha's social structure with her interpersonal relationships is step one. A mental health counselor can help define her inner circle of interpersonal relationships and explore the positive impact these resources can have. For example, family, close friends, etc. Another major factor contributing to Kesha's feelings of guilt and depression stem from the expectations or lack thereof she has of Tommy and his role as a father. A clinical mental health counselor will help Kesha set boundaries and expectations regarding the relationship of her ex-husband and provide guidance in terms of not only rebuilding and reaffirming her self-identity, but also provide lucrative resources and aid, both local and global, in order to provide relief during this unfortunate yet common stage of early adulthood. Divorce rate is still above 50%, isn't it?
It's nasty.
It's nasty.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
This is tough, man.
Yeah.
Especially the part that really caught me there was the expectation of Tommy as a father.
Yes.
Which is so hard because she no longer has an intimate role in communicating and talking. Well, she does, but the amount of response that she's going to get from Tommy is probably much more limited.
Significantly less.
Yeah, significantly less when talking about how he should be as a father when they are no longer together.
Exactly.
Right? So her handhold on what she can ask of him and get from him as a father, but she's still probably going to maintain the same expectations that she had of him as a father. That's going to be hard for her to deal with. That's going to be tough.
Or even taking it a step further, if she is trying to uphold those same expectations, I believe personally in my gut that the expectations need to shift to a different tone or a different rung, so to speak, because she's never going to get that same amount that she got when they were together. Yeah. So in her mind, at least I think for her own mental health, shifting that or turning that dial down and understanding that the expectations are going to be significantly less does play merit and benefit for her psyche, because then she's not expecting nearly as much. She knows where the boundaries and limitations are based on their relationship, and then now where their relationship is. I think that having that self-aware that self-aware understanding of saying, hey, it's not going to be the same as it was. How can I not be disappointed and set my expectations or my emotions up for failure because I'm expecting the same thing? You're not going to get the same thing. So being able to fine-tune that back down is that balance, is that happy medium.
So in that scenario, do you think that oftentimes one parent tries to out-parent the other and basically become the favorite parent and set the expectation, so then the other parent has to kind of chase that role, and which can create an animosity there because the expectation is going to be set.
Or oddly enough, healthy competition. That would be the ideal situation.
Oh,
that would be perfect. Like, oh, this fucking parent's out parenting me right now.
Parenting me. I can make a better grilled cheese. Right. Let's go.
Right? You want chips on your grilled cheese? You got it.
Let's do this.
But I think more often than not, in that regard of not upholding or withholding your specific responsibilities or your duties, I think that there is an animosity more times than not that starts to formulate.
Yeah. And there's just, excuse my language, but there's just a ton of bullshit that comes through the divorce. I have a client who's going through a divorce, and she was the one that always drove action and physical, movement and sports and things for their children.
Sure.
But when it comes to divorce, they now have to levy all their parenting skills against one another for custody. So what happened in this particular scenario is the father went out and bought canoes and kayaks and just camping gear.
I'm going to be friggin' dad of the year.
He bought all this stuff
so
he could show the receipts, but never took the children. Yeah. But in court, they want to see paperwork.
Of course they do.
Dad's got all the money.
So who's right?
Yeah.
in that case,
It's
right?
hard. It's tough.
Exactly.
And the kids though, when they you know, they wanted to be with dad because he was buying them all the stuff.
Just for S&Gs. How old are the kids?
10 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're still
They're
very much
kids.
in a malleable stage
Oh,
right now.
I mean, and they were probably more. They had been sheltered from the scenario, so they were probably really more 8 and 10 emotionally.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, dad's buying them all the presents, buying them all the things. You know, letting them eat, you know, pizza whenever they come over and play video games and do what they want.
Right.
And, you know, and mom's trying to keep them healthy. Mom's really the good parent, but she's not the fun parent.
Right, exactly. That's the difference.
So it's
right
tough.
there. She's the good parent, but not the fun parent.
So,
that's a good phrase.
So what's the expectation?
Yeah.
You know, what's the expectation, and how are you going to meet it, and how are you going to find that balance with somebody who no longer loves you?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
This is where the hairy situation of divorce comes out.
Very much so, and that's why it's so prevalent in our culture and our society, especially with our age group. Especially with millennials and Gen X. I think it's the generation before us as well too. But that's why is that I think it's a breakdown and a dysfunctional communication arena. And I think that is part of the reason why we don't effectively communicate emotionally with each other. We're not able to see eye to eye because we have our own personal expectations of either ourselves or other people that then cannot be transitioned or manipulated into something that makes sense for both parties. And I think coming to that understanding of I'm going to make some sacrifices, but you're also going to make some sacrifices as well too. And we have to know that it's going to hurt in some regard, but the overall hurt of our sacrifices is going to accelerate our child or our children or even our livelihood forward because this is the way it needs to be for all of us.
For all of us.
We're gonna leave it right there for you guys today. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you for tuning into Mental Health Awareness. Brian's out. He's gonna go get us out of here. And love you all.
Take care.
Bye.